Hey guys, so I have a little bit more clarity on what happened with Facebook today. As you know, it's been down for 8 hours during the course of the day. It's not unprecedented. Back in 2019, Facebook actually went down for over 24 hours, and that was far worse. And I think the world reacting the way they did today to Facebook being down and Instagram and WhatsApp speaks to how concentrated the user base is for these platforms. So if you want a lay understanding of what happened, it doesn't look like malicious actors. The leaders of the biggest cybersecurity companies like Cloudflare are saying that malicious actors don't have their fingerprints on this. It looks like it's going to come down to a border gateway protocol issue, or BGP. So what essentially that means is you have your own router at your house that you may have been given by AT&T or Cox Communications. And that communicates with a larger autonomous network. So like outside of your own residence and then outside of your ISP, your internet service provider. And what those do is they give information to communicate directly to a website. And oftentimes all of the information in this group is not concentrated in one group. So they have to do a jump. So let's say you wanted something from Ford.com and you wanted to navigate there with the fewest number of jumps as possible so you get the information as quickly as possible. You have several options to do that. And largely it comes down to the speed of the ping. How quickly can I get that information back to myself? How quickly can the pings be done? And how quickly can I get to the website? You run into a few issues because when you communicate reliably with an autonomous network like this, you come to trust their content. So you may run into a few issues. So for example, if the BGP is hacked, for example, you could have many thousands of computers that are getting information from this multi-jump autonomous network. And for the longest time, everything's been great. But when we look through history, you can see like in 2004, you had an ISP send out to the rest of the world a bunch of BGP gateways that were incorrect. And in that case, it was mistaken. But while the process of getting those cleaned up happens, for a lot of these people around the world that aren't in Turkey, but communicate with those, they can't access the Turkish sites, or a lot of times even their own sites that are in Europe or even in America, because what a lot of BGPs are taking that information for is gospel. They're like, now they'll check it, but by and large, when they get that information to jump with, they're going to jump with that. And in Pakistan, for example, in 2008, this can be done maliciously. So the government in Pakistan wanted to block Pakistani users from using YouTube. So when they have these commands sent out, like when users in Pakistan would put on youtube.com or youtube.ru or whatever links, it would misdirect them to government site or essentially block them from doing that. And what this BGP route did is they didn't tell the rest of the ones that they were communicating with, like, oh, by the way, we're having this restriction specific to Pakistani users, disregard this information because it's wrong. And then all around the world, you saw YouTube access as a dead end, which had to get refinished over the next couple of hours. So there's a practice called BGP hijacking, which has been out there, where you can send out, if you get in incorrect routes. Why would you want to do that? Well, you could reroute information that's coming in to be able to get cryptocurrencies. So if you can mess with information, you can mess with someone sending it out through a jump and take some of those cryptocurrencies. You can assert your own affiliate link. You can do a number of manipulative activities that can earn you a lot of money in the short term, which is what a lot of these groups want that are doing cybercrime. And it takes a while to clean up. You'll see, especially during the day today, there was an uptick in cybercrime for social engineering. So people would call and say, I see your Facebook is down. It's down because there's a warrant out for your arrest or something. You need to give me your information so I can turn on your Facebook. And people that are vulnerable for those are people that aren't as well versed in technology. So you did have opportunities that were jumping on it today, which if you look under Mark Zuckerberg's Twitter or Facebook feed in the comments section, you can see there's a lot of social engineering going on and people were losing their accounts. So I think the takeaway from today is that it doesn't look like it was China or Iran or malicious actors that were taking the internet down. I saw a number of people were reactionary and they would post, oh, this is coming from China's hacking unit and this is well known, but of course there's no sources for that. And when they did the screenshot, it didn't include the username of the Twitter handle. And when you're looking for information on this, you want to be looking from, how about the CTO of Facebook, or how about Cloudflare's CEO, or people that really know their stuff, as opposed to conspiracy theorists or people that are happy to jump to a conclusion to get some clicks. So as far as I can see at the present time, and in doing a deep dive into this, it just looks like it was a bad border gateway protocol transmission of some bad signals, and the routes got communicated on so that many millions or even billions of people lost access to a lot of these channels. I read earlier that people were having difficulty with Gmail too, but I haven't experienced any of that. And I tried my Google Workplace and my personal Gmail account, and everything seemed to be working fine throughout the course of the day. So as information comes out about this, that'll be interesting to see how wide the tentacles were outside of the Facebook ecosystem. What was most interesting about it too is that Facebook employees themselves weren't able to communicate. So they were having to go onto, I read Outlook a lot of times. So I'll go onto Microsoft's products to communicate with each other about what to do on Facebook. And most amusingly, you had Jack Dorsey of Twitter and Stripe, I believe. He replied to someone's message on a platform called Sea-Doo, where people list their domains, that Facebook.com was for sale. And he tweeted, how much. It'll be interesting to see when the report comes out from Facebook, because they hold a lot of this technology behind cloak and dagger. They don't want getting out what has been getting out for the last few weeks, just as damaging information about Facebook and their cybersecurity practices, their privacy practices. So when it all comes out, I'm going to suspect, from everything that I'm seeing from the top voices in cybersecurity, that it was a BGP issue. And I think for the time being, people can allay their fears that it was some sort of attack or coordinated effort on behalf of a sovereign hacking force. Seems like it was just mismanagement and BSG technical issues, which happened to Slack last month and happens from time to time at big organizations.